Good afternoon and welcome to Williams Dog Training Company. We're here today with Fred and Moses, and what we're going to be demonstrating for you today is Moses' ability to understand and respond to his obedience commands, the corrections and motivations we give him while we're working with him, and the training equipment that we're using. Fred is using a regular 6-foot web training leash, and he's going to keep the bulk of that leash folded neatly in his right hand, leaving his left hand free to give the correction. The correction that we give is a tug and let go to the training collar, which is the second piece of equipment that we're using. Moses has been fitted with his own personal training collar, and we'll show you how to properly use this during your one-on-one lesson. As you can see, Moses is seated on Fred's left, which is where all our obedience training is done. The first command will demonstrate his heeling, which is proper walking on a leash, and Fred and Moses take off doing that now. The command you want to use for this is Moses heel, and then you just start walking and he'll fall right in line on your left-hand side. Now we've also gone ahead and incorporated our sit into this, as you see right there. Anytime Fred stops his feet, Moses will sit. There's another example. It's important when you're heeling Moses that he walks nicely at your pace without trying to pull ahead of you or lag behind. If he does attempt to pull ahead or lag behind, say no, give a tug and let go correction to his training collar, repeat that command to heel, and then start walking again. Now the next command they'll demonstrate our stay command, which is a hand and voice command. Fred will use the open flat of his left palm an inch or so from Moses' muzzle and the one-word command to stay. He walks out to the end of the training leash. Now this is a great exercise to build up self-control in Moses. You can start practicing this one at about a minute's time and work your way up in increments until you get to about 3 minutes. Now as Fred returns back to Moses, he'll walk all the way around him, providing an added distraction as he goes behind him, and right back to that left-hand side heel position. Moses holds his sit-stay throughout. Fred gives him a little praise and then heels him right out of it, and he'll show you a little more of the heel sit and stay. There's that automatic sit. And the stay one more time. Back out to the end of the training leash. At this time he'll give him a minute to hold this position, and then he'll demonstrate our come or recall command instead of returning back to Moses. He calls him in using his name. Moses gets up, comes into Fred, and he'll sit in front. Nicely done. We then have an exercise called the finish. Fred's going to heel Moses right around the back of him and gets him right back to that proper left-hand side heel position, and he sits. He'll demonstrate that recall one more time. He's in that sit and gives him a stay out to the end of the training leash. He gives him a second to hold it. And then calls him in. Moses gets up, comes into Fred, sits in front, and the finish one more time. He heels him right around the back of him and right back to his left-hand side heel position. Sits nicely, gets a little praise, and Fred heels him right out of it. Now it's a good time to remind you want to practice all your commands with Moses about 15 to 20 minutes a day. You can practice inside or outside your home and just incorporate the commands into your daily routine with him. And next up is going to be our down commands. The first one will be down from a heel position. We'll give them a second to get in place for it. Now with down from a heel position, you're going to have him in a sit. Fred will use the open flat of his left palm straight down to the ground and the one-word firm command to down. He then gives him a stay and walks out to the end of that leash. It's another great exercise to build up that self-control. And this one you can start at about 3 minutes and work your way up in increments until you get to about 5 minutes. As Fred returns back to Moses, he's going to walk all the way around him just as he did on the sit stay, and right back to that left-hand side heel position. He holds that down stay throughout. Fred gives him some praise and then heels him right out of it. Just tells him to heel. He gets right up and starts walking with Fred. And he'll show you that down again when he comes back around. Now you see Moses is doing very well, but it's always important to follow through with your commands. So if at any point you give him a command and he does not respond, or he breaks one of his stays, the first word out of your mouth is always going to be no, followed by a tug and let go correction to his training collar, and then you repeat the command you'd given him. Now Fred will show you that down from a heel position one more time. It's hand straight to the ground, one word command to down, and then a stay, and back out to the end of that leash. And this time he's going to give him a minute to hold this position, and then he'll demonstrate that come or recall command right out of the down position this time.
Moses, come.
Calls him in. Moses gets right up, comes into Fred, sits in front. And then the finish one more time, he's going to heel him right around the back of him and right back to his left hand side heel position, and Moses will sit. Nicely done. And we'll give him a second to get lined up for our final obedience command, which is down from a distance. And this will be our down from a distance. You're going to have him in a sit, give him a stay, walk out to the end of your trading leash. And this is the only time you're going to use your right hand to give the command, and Fred will drop Moses into a down from the end of the training leash. Nice job. And then he'll return back to him. Once again, he walks all the way around and right back to that left hand side heel position. Alright, we've demonstrated for you our basic obedience commands that we've worked on with Moses while he's been here at school. It's been a pleasure working with Moses, and we thank you again for choosing Williams Dog Training Company as your personal dog trainer.